I want to talk about the one quote that changed how I view my life and how it completely changed my life and changed my view of myself. And that quote is by Rupi Kaur, and it's, "I will never have this version of me again. Let me slow down and be with her." I will never have this version of me again. Let me slow down and be with her. For most of my life, my childhood, my adolescence, and as an adult, I didn't like myself. I can say that I really did not like myself. And truly, I think I hated myself. I really didn't think I was anyone of value, that anybody really cared for me, even if I had friends or family who showed that they had feelings of love towards me. I always just thought that they were just being nice and that they would just drop me. I had a big fear of being abandoned. Um, but I hated myself for a very, very long time. And that's one of the reasons I think that such a high achiever and overachiever growing up, because it was something tangible that I could possibly find emotional connection to, that I could possibly finally appreciate and love myself if I achieved something. And each time I would achieve something, it was never enough. And so I just thought, next thing, next thing, next thing. But I hated myself. I hated the way I thought, because I found that I was not smart enough. For those who don't know, like, I did a master's program, but prior to that, like, I was not doing well in school. My father was extremely ill. There was a lot of difficulty in the home, and I had a very hard time in school. I was getting a lot of D's in primary, and I almost was sent to a school for people who had learning disabilities because I just had such a difficult time. And when my father passed is when I started having a bit more structure, because he wasn't ill, and he was no longer suffering, and I was able to do better in school and find solace in the fact that I could actually get possibly good grades. Um, but I didn't think I was smart. I still sometimes I don't. What is intelligence? Um, and I so I didn't think I was smart. My brain was always so mean to me. I was always so anxious. I was always so negative, and I hated my body. Like, I hated my body. I have broad shoulders. I am not skinny. And when I was like 12, I was asking for workout videos, because especially in the early 2000s, I'm born in 1992, but it was all about very slim figures. So I remember when I was in gym class, and my teacher at the time was like, "Oh, you should play football. You have great shoulders for it." And I was mortified, completely and utterly just mortified. And so I hated myself. I hated my body. I hated my mind. And I figured everybody else must also feel the same way about me. And that persisted, and it just got worse over time. I was never getting good enough grades for myself. I was never a good enough friend, a good enough daughter, a good enough partner. I was never good enough. And this came to like a head. Sorry, I'm playing with paper clips. This came to a head when I burnt out in 2021. I had been really pushing myself to prove myself to others and to myself that I was of value. And I completely and utterly burnt out. I mean, I was a zombie. I couldn't talk much. I couldn't move much. I spent like 6 months sitting on the couch in the exact same position. Like, there was a dent in the couch because I just couldn't live a life outside of that, of just sitting and being nothing. And I was kicking myself because I felt like I had abandoned all my clients. I was the worst person in the world. And again, I just really hated myself. Again, my body and my mind had given up on me and led me to failed me. They failed me. I had failed once more. And during that time, shortly after, I became pregnant and I started on my slow living journey of wanting to really live a different life for my child, because my child, if I'm bringing a child into this world, I it is my responsibility in my eyes to provide her with the best experience she can have. And so that's when I started my slow living journey. And I started prioritizing myself, setting boundaries, and setting boundaries with work and working on my prioritization. But deep down, there was still this hatred for myself. And especially difficult when I was pregnant because I was very sick. I did enjoy some of my pregnancy. I loved the bump. The second trimester was pretty good, but pregnancy as a whole was very difficult. There's this feeling of not having control over your own body and really just being an incubator that really affects you, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a good relationship with their body to start with. So that was difficult. And then um, for delivery, I had a traumatic birth experience, and after trying to um, give birth, vaginally, I was unable to, and I needed an emergency C-section. And there's like at that time, for me, it was just like another time my body has failed me, and that I that I'm just not a woman, like that I couldn't do it. And I felt like that for a very long time, especially like after when I was healing, it was taking me a long time to heal. Um, and I just felt useless. I hated my body once again. And then I had a really bad postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, which just fueled that. Didn't feel like a good enough person, a good enough mother. I was just, and I came across a quote on my journey to slow living while like during this difficult time. And it was the one that I read at the beginning, which is, I will never have this version of me again. Let me slow down and be with her. And this externalizing of myself, of like perceiving myself as this other person, was like, man, my body took care of me all through my life, through very difficult situations. My body created life. My body went through major surgery of a C-section, and within the same day, I was breastfeeding. My body is continuing to take care of this little life, and my body is taking care of me, and my mind is taking care of me, and I'm still going. I'm still trucking along. I'm still like, wow, how strong is she? And so when I was able to externalize that and be like, wow, how strong is she? How strong is this body? Is this person? Is this mother? That I started to be like, that is you, Emily. You are that body. You are that person. You are that mind. You are that mother. You are that partner. You are that daughter. You are that person. I had been kicking myself for so long and trying to just disconnect from myself for so long that I never was truly kind to myself. I never truly was thankful to myself for everything that I had been through, that I had gone through, that I had survived and gotten past. And then I realized I owed it to myself and I owed it to her to slow down and be with her, to be present, to stop just pushing for the next thing that was around the corner that was going to finally prove that I was of worth. I was of worth right now, regardless of how I was feeling before that. So I realized that I had to start changing the way I viewed myself. And so I started being very kind to myself. I have a scar from my C-section. That is my battle scar. I love it. I am a warrior. I am so proud of what I went through and came out the other side to create the beautiful daughter that I have. I go to the gym and lift weights, not so that I become skinny, but because I love feeling strong. This body that I have is strong. You should see the lifts the weights I'm lifting at the gym. It's amazing. I'm so happy about it. I owe it to myself to be present for my adulthood, to be present for my motherhood. It's your child's childhood, but it's your motherhood, it's your parenthood, and I wanna be as present as possible so that I can look at my daughter and remember her eyes, I can remember her smile, I remember the feeling of, like, her hair. I wanna be there, and so I I know that this version of me will never be the same. I am in continuous change. From when I started this YouTube channel to now, I'm in continuous change. And it's so amazing. It's so amazing that I get to grow, that I'm not stuck in one place, and that I get to just be. I get to just be myself in the world that I'm living right now, in my own reality, in my own family. I love my relationship. I love my daughter. I love my family. I love my friends. I love me. And 20-year-old Emily would be so very cringed right now if I said I love me. Like, who says that? Who says they love themselves? I love myself. I do. I'm not perfect by any means, but I love myself. And I'm going to slow down with her. I'm going to slow down with me. I owe it to myself to experience this life and to not just be in my own head and to be hurting myself with my thoughts, with my self criticism, with my self doubt. Do they come up? Obviously, I am only human. But when that happens, I seek help. I talk to someone. I remind myself of what I have. And I share all this because I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I know, because I'm a mom right now, I do have a lot of friends who are also moms who have also shared this feeling of disconnection from their body and from themselves. And I've worked enough as a therapist to know that many of us really don't like ourselves. And because of what we've been through, because of how we grew up, because of the messages we got, it could be a lot of different things. And I make this video to let you know that one, you're not alone with those thoughts. Two, it can get better. It really can. And three, I make this video for me. I They talk about on YouTube, guru channels, that you have to make videos for everyone else. They're not for you, they're for everyone else. You don't matter in it. And I understand there's a lot of content that I make that is to spread a message because I want to change people's lives. But I created this channel, I think, 'cause I had a lot to say, and I do have a lot to say, and that's okay as well. That's okay that if I just need an outlet. That's okay if this video doesn't reach anyone. I think this is something that I had to talk about. And I couldn't just film it on my usual camera. It wouldn't have been real, it wouldn't have been authentic, it would have been structured, and that's okay, but this isn't the feel that I had for this video. So, this video has horrible quality, video, audio, whatever, I don't know. And I probably didn't look at the camera enough because I was really in my mind during this. But thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable with you. And I hope that you could be vulnerable as well. It's scary. You can hear it in my voice. I'm a little bit scared. This is not my regular go to way of being, but it's important. You're important. And this is the part where I tell you to keep living your authentic life, I guess. Okay. Bye.